In terms of the fourth quarter, they had all but one of their buckets was inside the paint. Was that them just being able to get into the paint and get whatever they want because of that point of attack defense like you were talking about?
Yeah, they had that and 9 free.
The Indiana Fever were just robbed, but this wasn't a steal by an opponent in the final seconds. This was a systematic dismantling of a team by biased officiating, culminating in a single, shocking moment that has the entire league on notice. It all went down in a heartbreaking loss to the Sparks, a game that saw a player literally trampled on the court with no penalty, and a head coach pushed so far she has now declared a quiet war on the WNBA itself. This isn't just about one bad game. This is the story of a season-long pattern of disrespect, a league failing to protect its biggest star, and the damning evidence that proves something is fundamentally wrong.
What in the world did I just sit through? What did I just witness? I'm pretty sure I just had years shaved off the back end of my life. What a tough, ugly watch this game was, and on top of it, they lost. They lost.
The air in Gainbridge Fieldhouse was electric. With just 1 minute and 43 seconds remaining in the game, the Indiana Fever were in complete control. They held a solid 87-83 lead over the visiting Los Angeles Sparks, and a third consecutive victory felt like a certainty. The team was finally finding its rhythm even without its superstar, and the hometown crowd was ready to erupt in celebration. It was a perfect setup, a story of resilience culminating in a well-deserved win. But in professional basketball, 103 seconds can be an eternity. What happened next wasn't just a breakdown, it was a slow-motion catastrophe. The Fever's offense, which had been clicking all night, suddenly went ice cold. Shot after shot clanged off the rim. A sense of unease began to creep through the arena as the Sparks, smelling blood in the water, mounted their attack.
The LA Sparks just got the spark versus the Fever for some reason, man. But the Sparks always have matched up well with the Fever since last season, man. Tough ending for the Fever girls. Just some missed free throws, some questionable shots. Could have got it, man. Close game. I ain't even mad. The intensity is there, man. This team, if they can keep up this intensity, is going to be real nice when Caitlin Clark gets
a basket here, a free throw there, and suddenly the lead was shrinking. The confidence that had filled the building just moments before was replaced by a familiar, sinking feeling of dread. The Fever missed their final 5 shots of the game, a complete and total offensive collapse at the worst possible moment. The Sparks closed the game on a devastating 6-0 run, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. The final buzzer sounded with the scoreboard reading 89-87 in favor of Los Angeles. The silence in the arena was deafening. It was a gut-wrenching, soul-crushing loss that left fans and players alike stunned. But as the initial shock wore off, it became clear that this collapse wasn't just about missed shots. It was a symptom of a much deeper problem, one that became painfully obvious when you looked at who was forced to watch this disaster unfold from the sidelines.
Well, this doesn't feel good, does it? After riding high after the last few games, beating the Wings, beating the Lynx, beating the Aces, looking pretty good doing it, we go up against the Los Angeles Sparks. Nice. Los Angeles Sparks. Last time we saw you guys, we were beating you down for a majority of the game, and then Kelsey Plum goes off in the fourth quarter. Sparks take the lead and win. Damn.
The loss was made infinitely more frustrating by the foolish narrative it finally put to rest. The absurd idea that the Indiana Fever are a better team without Caitlin Clark. For 5 straight games, Clark had been sidelined with a groin injury, and in her absence, the team had shockingly rattled off 3 impressive wins, including a stunning Commissioner's Cup victory. This brief success gave fuel to a small but vocal group of critics and haters who flooded social media with claims that the Fever's offense flowed better and their defense was tougher without their rookie phenom. They argued the team was more balanced, that other players could finally shine. This heartbreaking loss to the Sparks, a team dwelling at the bottom of the league standings, served as a brutal and definitive rebuttal.
For all the stupid haters saying, oh, they can win more without Caitlin Clark, tonight proved that they need Caitlin Clark. What a goofy play. That last play was horrible. They had multiple chances to win this game, but they lose to bad teams. That's not good. You got to beat the teams that you're supposed to beat LA Sparks is not a good basketball team.
It proved beyond any shadow of a doubt just how indispensable Caitlin Clark truly is. Without her on the floor in those crucial final moments, the Fever's offense had no anchor. There was no one with the gravity to draw defenders and create open looks for others. There was no one with the preternatural clutch gene to take the ball and will it into the basket. Her value isn't just measured in her staggering stats, the 19 points, 9.3 assists, and 6 rebounds she averaged before her injury. It's measured in the fear she strikes in opposing defenses and the confidence she instills in her own teammates. This loss wasn't just a game. It was a clear demonstration that this team's ceiling is directly tied to Clark's health. They can survive without her, but they cannot truly thrive. The narrative was dead, but what happened next in the game would expose something far more sinister than hot takes from online trolls.
But Kelsey Mitchell's got it going, and she's been brilliant recently, and Aaliyah Boston continues to have an awesome season. And I love the physicality that Aaliyah Boston is showing, but they weren't able to get it done down the stretch again.
Deep in the fourth quarter, with the game hanging in the balance, a single sequence of play unfolded that was so outrageous, so contrary to the rules of basketball, that it perfectly encapsulated the season-long frustration of the Indiana Fever. It was the moment the quiet whispers about biased officiating became a deafening siren. The Fever were attempting to trap Sparks guard Kelsey Plum, a notoriously aggressive player. In the chaos of the trap, Plum made hard contact with Fever guard Lexi Hull, knocking her to the ground. It was a physical play, but what came next was beyond the pale. Visibly enraged by what she perceived as a flop, Plum didn't just walk away. As Hull tried to get back to her feet, Plum made a conscious decision to assert her dominance in the most disrespectful way imaginable.
Right? So this play right here is when they were trying to trap Kelsey Plum, and Kelsey Plum ended up kind of bowing Lexi over and then stepping over, like really kneeing her body, knocking her back, and then walking.
She deliberately and aggressively stepped right over Hull's prone body, driving her knee into Hull's torso and essentially trampling her. In any other league, in any other game, it would have been an automatic technical foul, likely a flagrant one, and a possible ejection. It was a blatant act of unsportsmanlike conduct designed to intimidate and humiliate an opponent. But to the shock of everyone watching, the officials blew their whistles and, after a brief conference, called up jump ball. No penalty for the aggressive contact. No penalty for the shocking step over. To make matters worse, Plum was later caught on camera screaming profanities at the officials, yet she faced no repercussions whatsoever. The double standard was laid bare for the world to see. This wasn't just a missed call, it was a message. It told the Fever and the entire league that against this team, the normal rules of engagement simply do not apply.
How she cuss out refs, look at her. She was saying she flopped. She really flopped. Then she said she effing flopped. That's a effing flop. That's basically what she said right there. Kelsey Plum, man. Kelsey Plum. Yeah, she got away with murder on that one, man. She got away with murder on this one. I don't know how to...
For anyone who thought the Kelsey Plum incident was an isolated mistake, they simply haven't been paying attention. This was not an anomaly. It was the culmination of a season defined by a consistent and documented pattern of one-sided officiating against the Indiana Fever. Head coach Stephanie White has been living this nightmare every single game. She has been forced to use her limited and precious coach's challenges to overturn calls so blatantly incorrect that they defy all logic. Imagine having to waste your only lifeline on a call that a casual fan in the nosebleeds could see was wrong. That has been White's reality. This pattern of disrespect has seen obvious, hard contact against Fever players, particularly Caitlin Clark, go completely ignored, while the softest, most incidental phantom fouls are called against them. The statistics are damning.
Sydney Colson, man, shout out to her, dog. I can't overlook her. 6 points, 5 assists, 2 rebounds with that intelligent block. Like it. 2 of 4 from the floor and then 2 of 3 from the 3. I mean, she was shooting like she was the scorer of the team. She put on her airy bag tonight.
In one stretch of games, the Fever faced a mind-boggling -31 free throw discrepancy. White herself pointed out that such a number might be understandable if her team was just jacking up three-pointers all game, but they weren't. They were consistently attacking the rim, inviting contact, and getting nothing in return from the officials. The league's response to her complaints, fining her for speaking out. After earlier losses to the New York Liberty and Washington Mystics, where the officiating was particularly egregious. White voiced her frustration and was slapped with a hefty fine for questioning the league's integrity. The pattern is unmistakable and deeply troubling. The Fever are being officiated by a different, harsher set of rules, and their coach is being punished for daring to point it out.
I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build-up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do. And I'm a team player, so it's all good.
There is no better symbol of the WNBA's hypocritical officiating than the treatment of Fever forward Sophie Cunningham. Over the course of the season, Cunningham has reluctantly earned the title of the team's enforcer, a role she never asked for but was forced into by the league's failure to protect her teammates. She became a folk hero among Fever fans after an explosive altercation with the Connecticut Sun, where she stood up for her teammates in the face of excessive aggression. For her loyalty, she was ejected and later fined. Her jersey sales skyrocketed, and she gained hundreds of thousands of social media followers who admired her grit and her willingness to have her teammates' backs. Cunningham herself has said, "I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do." But her story perfectly illustrates the league's impossible double standard.
A disaster. This was a disaster. The Indiana Fever cannot keep losing to teams like the LA Sparks if they're supposed to be a good team. And Rickea Jackson, she just flat abused the Fever in the last 3 minutes of the game. Seriously, what?
When Cunningham defends her team, she is penalized. Yet, when opponents like Kelsey Plum engage in overtly hostile and physical acts against the Fever, they often escape with a mere slap on the wrist, or in Plum's case, no punishment at all. In the game against the Sparks, Cunningham was involved in another physical scramble, this time with Julie Vanloo, who appeared to grab her around the neck. Both players, showing immense maturity, walked away smiling, diffusing the situation. But the incident underscored the reality that Cunningham is constantly walking a tightrope, forced to engage in physical battles because if she doesn't, no one else, least of all the officials, will step in. The league has created a dangerous environment where the Fever are penalized for protecting themselves from the very aggression the officials refuse to police.
And this is now 2 losses to the Sparks without Clark. They've lost to the Connecticut Sun, who have the worst record in the league without Clark. They lost to the Mystics, who are really right there with them in the standings, but they're a better team than the Mystics. And then, of course, they've actually, dropped a couple games they should have won with Clark in the lineup. To be fair, the Valkyries game and specifically the Las Vegas Ace.
Every fine, every missed call, and every sign of disrespect has pushed head coach Stephanie White closer to the edge. Her battle with the WNBA's officiating has now escalated into a quiet but defiant war. She is no longer just a coach managing a game. She is an advocate fighting a seemingly corrupt system from within. After receiving her first fine of the season, she walked into a press conference and, with dripping sarcasm, asked the reporters, "Do you want me to get fined again? Because I did just get fined." It was a moment of raw, unfiltered frustration that revealed a coach at her wit's end.
Collectively, as a whole, the league has to step in and do something. I just think that there has to be some improvements in certain areas.
What would be the main one, you think, if you could just pick one top area?
Are we trying to get me fined again?
No.
Because I did just get fined.
Her most damning indictment of the league came when she revealed that this is not a new problem. Despite bringing up officiating concerns every year when we have our league meetings, she stated, "We say the same thing over and over and over, and nothing has changed." It's a shocking admission that paints a picture of a league that is either deaf to criticism or simply doesn't care. White's willingness to continue speaking out, knowing full well that each word could cost her thousands of dollars, demonstrates an incredible commitment to her players. She is risking her own financial well-being and her relationship with the league office to fight for a principle, the simple right to a fairly officiated game. She isn't just fighting for the Indiana Fever, she's fighting for the soul of a league that appears to have lost its way.
I thought you got fouled. I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us the last few games. A minus 31 free throw discrepancy. And I might be able to understand it if we were just chucking threes, but we're not. We're attacking the rim. And the disrespect right now for our team has been pretty unbelievable. So it's disappointing, that it doesn't go both ways, or it hasn't gone both ways. But we also can't allow that to consume us, right? Like, we've got to be able to play through that. We've got to be able to control the thing.
At the heart of this entire controversy is a phenomenon that can only be described as the Caitlin Clark rules. It's the unwritten understanding that the league's biggest star is being officiated under a completely different and far more brutal standard than anyone else. From the moment she stepped onto a WNBA court, she became a target. The physical aggression directed at her goes far beyond the typical welcome to the league hazing. She is subjected to cheap shots, off-ball hip checks, and relentless shoves that are consistently ignored by the people paid to ensure player safety. The proof is in the data. During the 2024 season, Caitlin Clark was on the receiving end of 6 flagrant fouls. That number alone is high, but the context is staggering. Those 6 fouls represent nearly 18% of all flagrant fouls committed in the entire league.
All that this team is better without Caitlin Clark. Let's put that to bed now. Let's put that to bed now. This team lost back-to-back games at home versus the LA Sparks, who are at the bottom of the WNBA. This team lost at home to the Connecticut Sun, who are the worst team in the WNBA. All that they're better without Caitlin Clark. Put that to bed. Stop it. Stop it, man. Enough's enough. Stephanie White, can you have your troops ready to go out there and play ball? What are we doing?
A single player is the victim of almost 1/5 of the league's most dangerous plays. This isn't a coincidence. It's a bullseye. While other stars get a favorable whistle, Clark gets ignored. This blatant targeting raises uncomfortable questions. Is it jealousy from veteran players who resent her instant stardom? Is it an implicit directive from the league to let them play that has spiraled out of control? Or is it simply a case of officials being so incompetent they cannot keep up with her unique talent? Whatever the reason, the result is the same. The league's most valuable asset is being left unprotected game after game. The WNBA is currently experiencing a golden era, a surge in popularity, ticket sales, and media coverage unlike anything in its history, and it is almost entirely thanks to Caitlin Clark. But the league's baffling inaction on this officiating crisis is threatening to sabotage its own success. With every game marred by controversy, the millions of new fans Clark has brought to the sport are being shown a product that appears amateurish, unfair, and potentially rigged. The silence from the commissioner's office is deafening. There has been no strong public statement, no acknowledgement of the problem, and no clear plan to fix it. This silence is being interpreted as either weakness or worse, complicity. The solution isn't complicated. It requires 3 simple things from league leadership. First, they must publicly acknowledge that a problem exists. Second, they must invest in better training, clearer guidelines, and real accountability for their officials. And third, they must enforce player safety rules consistently for everyone. Protecting a generational talent like Caitlin Clark isn't favoritism. It's good business and the basic responsibility of a major professional sports league. The WNBA has a choice to make. It can rise to the occasion and implement the standards of a major league sport, or it can continue with its small-time mentality and risk alienating the very audience that represents its future. The world is watching. So what are we left with? A heartbreaking loss that never should have happened. A superstar player in Caitlin Clark who is being simultaneously targeted by opponents and neglected by officials. A team enforcer in Sophie Cunningham who is punished for doing the job the referees won't. And a courageous coach in Stephanie White who is waging a lonely war against a powerful, indifferent league office. This loss to the Sparks was more than just a game. It was a tipping point. It crystallized every fear and frustration that has been building all season long into one undeniable conclusion. Something is fundamentally broken within the WNBA. The blatant inconsistency, the documented patterns of bias, and the refusal to protect the league's brightest star can no longer be dismissed as mere incompetence. It forces us to ask a darker, more unsettling question. Why? Why allow the integrity of your product to be so openly compromised? As Stephanie White continues her costly but necessary fight for justice, the WNBA is now on trial in the court of public opinion, and until the league provides real answers and implements meaningful change, every game will be played under a shadow of doubt, leaving fans to wonder if what they are watching is a genuine competition or something else entirely.